Number one, number one thing I would say is opportunity cost. So when I look back at certain Pokemon plays I've made, and this could apply to sealed Pokemon or graded cards or anything in general. On certain cards that I bought, yes, they went up in value. I made money. I graded cards. I sold them. I made money. Generally, though, if you want to make real money, you have to invest real money, right? Like if you buy one or two boxes, you might make 50, 100 bucks. If you want to make like genuine money, though, you have to invest 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand. And it's like $20,000 invested in Pokemon could make you some money, but what about $20,000 invested in a piece of land? What about $20,000 invested in starting a landscaping business? Anything else, right? There's so many places people bought Nvidia, people bought Micron, people got rich buying Monster Energy stock, right? The opportunity cost. It's like, do you really want so much money parked in Pokemon? My second thing, this applies more so to like the modern Pokemon market. I really don't think very many people are investors nowadays. I mean, I genuinely just believe it's a flippers market, right? ETBs come out, people buy them, people scalp them at MSRP, then they sell them to investor bros or whoever, and then those investor bros just wait a couple months and they sell it for like $30 more, and they're like, I bought 5 boxes, I made 30 off each, and that's 150, and what's the next play? I'm making money, it's a side hustle, yeah. The third thing, and I just decided to compile a bunch of things, is a lot of things can go wrong if you own a legitimately large amount of sealed product. I'm not talking about somebody who owns 2 boxes. I'm talking about somebody who has an entire office full of boxes, an entire storage unit full of boxes. You could deal with fire, flood, mice, bugs, humidity, tampered boxes. I mean, nowadays everybody is scanning, weighing, resealing. People know how to scan packs, they know how to weigh booster bundles. You can do CT scans of booster boxes, all of that stuff. And then damaged boxes. Pokemon Center themselves does a terrible job of packaging stuff. And then a lot of people that you buy boxes on eBay from, the boxes are damaged or the boxes are tampered. You know what I mean? If you're also high theft. Not only are you at a huge risk of humidity damaging your stuff and all of that, people love stealing Pokemon. It's like one of America's favorite pastimes at this point, if we're talking about the past 5 years since COVID. And I honestly think very expensive sealed product has low collectability at absurd prices, right? Because it's one of those things, like, yes, like a box going from 500 to 5,000 is amazing, but when you start to, this kind of goes back to opportunity cost a little bit, but it also just kind of, comes back to the collector's market, right? If I'm a collector and I have 5 grand, do I want one single sealed booster box, or do I want to go look at all of the different slabs that I could buy? I mean, I could buy out like a master set plus a few slabs, or get a couple like of my personal grail cards that are a couple $1,000s. I could spend 4 grand on 2 or 3 personal grail cards and still have $1,000 left, or I could spend 5 grand on one box. So I think these boxes, the more expensive they get, the lower collectability they have, and ultimately the lower liquidity they have, right? And then this kind of goes back to flippers market. I honestly think gains are priced in. And then number 6 is all of this stuff, like with gains being priced in and the flippers market and all of this, and everybody wanting to be a Pokemon investor, it incentivizes scalping. If we decide that boxes are worth $150 the day that they drop, and Walmart's selling them for $50, if a scalper goes in there and buys 5 ETBs for $50, he just made $500, right? And it's free money. It's free money. Can you blame the scalper if they're getting $500 for literally standing there doing nothing, bro? Like, yes, I blame them. I don't like them. A lot of the scalpers are terrible people and like scummy human beings, and I don't vibe with them at all. But why don't the investor bros take a little bit of blame for pricing in gains the day that a set drops and trying to pump their bags and go, well, I'm gonna buy it at 150. I'm an investor. They're buying at 150 because they want to sell it for 200 in 3 months. They're not an investor. They're just a secondary scalper, right? And this kind of brings me to this question of what even is market, right? If 500 people say market is $20, but then 2 people say market is $250, and then those 2 guys that want to buy every box at $250 and manipulate the price legitimately go through with it and start buying every box for $250, they just manipulated the market. The market with something as, nonsense as Pokemon card collectibles, it's just very, very easy to manipulate. And just look at the Probstein auction nonsense. Look at the Black Label Mew that just went down with Ryan's Card House. How one was $250, one was $180. Then they settled for $230 to make it closer to $250. Where like people are trying to arbitrarily like set the prices, and apparently in Japan like card shops work together to set the prices for sealed stuff. And who's to say that these whales in the game can't just make up whatever price they want and then set the stage with fake comps and all of that stuff? I think all sorts of things like that are going on in Pokemon right now, and that just makes it like way, way, way more high risk than people think it is. It's not just like free money for doing nothing. All right, that's it. Peace.